Hello, everyone. Good evening. Sorry, we seem to have had some technical issues with respect to the microphone. Uh, so let's start the webinar today. Uh, my name is Mukunth. I am from Agaram Technologies, and uh, today I'm going to talk about how Logilab ELN is winning the trust of USFDA, mainly for data integrity and compliance. That's the kind of topic I'm going to talk today. Uh, a little bit of background about myself. I'm the CEO and founder of Agaram Technologies. We are a 25-year-old software company. We started as a laboratory informatics company in 1998, and we have been delivering different kinds of laboratory informatics software like Qualys LIMS, Logilab Electronic Lab Notebook, SDMS, and document management systems and things like that. Well, I have about 32 years of experience in the laboratory space, and that's my background. Let me go to the next slide. Um, Today's agenda is recalling what Alcoa means, just a single slide. And I'm going to discuss about a few typical observations made by USFDA. Paper versus digital is a slide that I'm going to show why and what are the advantages and disadvantages. And what is the path to compliance with Logilab ELN, and uh, a real life case study of an API manufacturer um, is also presented today. Uh, this manufacturer has had USFDA's 483 observations, and what was the solution path taken by this customer, and how the solution was deployed, and what challenges were met by the ELN. So that is the overall agenda for today's presentation. I hope you'll get some valuable feedback from this presentation today. Uh, Going back to Alcoa, um, so everybody is talking about data integrity, and when you talk about data integrity, many of them are talking about culture, companies' culture, and things like that. From a informatics company, we are talking about technology here. So data should be available, legible, contemporaneous. Availability is not a big issue, because if you go for digital, data is always available, and legibility is also not a big question, because you're recording it digitally and it will be highly legible. And whatever activities you are doing, if you are recording data contemporaneously, so you're also recording the data as and when the activity is being performed. So it's a contemporaneous recording in a digital world. And of course, the data will be original and true copy, and it will be accurate. Just to brush up what Alcoa is, what I want to do today. Uh, so, what are the typical US FDA observations? Um, Typical FDA's observations are, there are so many observations, just pointing a few with respect to laboratory. Uh, Data recorded on paper these days is getting less trustworthy. That's what I could see. The Just because of so many incidences happening around the world. Uh, so in general, the level of trust on paper-based system is going down day by day. And also, you might have seen shredded papers in campus found in several of the audits and things like that. So this is also a big observation. And testing to compliance is another observation which is very common, happening to different 483 uh, issuances happening around the world. Uh, and also, there is a SOPs are not being followed properly. So, like for test procedures or production process or cleaning validation, just some of the examples. This is also a major observation. The companies are not following the proper SOPs. Another important thing is uh, when it comes to FDA's audit or any regulator's audit, date and time contention is raising integrity doubts. So if somebody has done something on a particular date and time, uh, if it is done on paper, then there is a big contention about whether the date and time is authentic or not. That's another observation that's happening. Raw data and metadata mismatch is happening in several of the cases. Uncontrolled issuance of controlled forms is also another major observation happening around the world. So this is a kind of typical observations which I wanted to share today, and start from this perspective. How are we going to address these things? Uh, uh, this slide is giving you an idea about what is a paper-based system and what is a digital system. Uh, Traditionally, everybody is used to paper, so it's very easy to record, and also easy to even duplicate. If you don't like something written on paper, you can tear it off and create another paper. And there is no possibility to prove integrity. It's very very difficult to prove on paper-based system that yes, this is the original paper, like an FIR. So who did what, when, and why is a question in terms of paper-based system. And SOPs cannot be enforced if it is a paper-based system. You would have written the SOPs, but whether the person executing the SOP is really following that SOP or not is a question. Um, Date and time of recording, integrity cannot be verified, or trusted. That's another problem with paper-based system. So, if somebody signs 20th of June at 3 p.m., we started the webinar, uh, but actually we started at 3:05. So this is a real integrity issue. It cannot be verified if it is on paper. Versioning cannot be controlled. So you can have multiple versions of data on paper. So poor traceability of data. So if you are recording data over a period of time, it's very difficult to go back to all your old papers. Uh, and also data can be modified post approval. This is another big issue with respect to paper-based system. So you can actually change your data whenever you want if it is paper-based system. Whereas if it is digital, it's first of all easier to record, impossible to duplicate. You cannot destroy any data. These are all some of the important things for not only for data integrity, even for 21 CFR Part 11, UDRLX Annex 11. You cannot obfuscate or destroy your old data. It's a very, very important requirement for CFR Part 11. And you can really prove the integrity of the data, who did what and when and why. SOPs can be enforced if it is a digital system, and date and time of recording integrity can be verified and trusted very easily if it is digital, and versioning can be fully controlled and fully traceable, and old data can be accessible any point in time, and data cannot be modified post approval by meaning if somebody has digitally signed something, data cannot be modified after the approval process. So these are the advantages of the digital system over the paper-based system. Uh, Inability to adhere to SOP is another big disadvantage on paper. Questionable integrity of issuance of controlled paper forms, duplicate paper forms, sequence of procedures cannot be controlled, date and time cannot be controlled, latest approved version of SOP cannot be ensured. These are some of the problems in paper-based systems. And very almost zero control over testing to compliance. When you are using uh, uh, smaller instruments, standalone instruments, for doing some test procedure or a manual test procedure, it is very much difficult to control the testing to compliance. It's a big issue all over the world. So uh, instrument variables can be easily changed, and another report can be generated. A simple thing, in a, if you are changing the height reject uh, number in a chromatography system, automatically the peaks area and percentage will change. Similarly, for a spectroscopy instrument, if you are able to change certain peak detection parameters, then the concentration and the area under the curve will change. So it's very easy to generate another piece of data. But if it is done without a digital system, this testing to compliance cannot be controlled. There are solutions out there uh, to help you to even protect you from testing to compliance. That's what I wanted to tell you in this particular slide. So, what is the path to compliance with the with Logilab ELN? That's what we are going to talk today. I will put across all the problems with paper-based systems initially and what 483s are generally typically seen. Now let's talk about what is the path to compliance now using an electronic lab notebook for regulated environment, both for QC, R&D, and process. So all of them can uh, become very, very compliant. What is Logilab EL? It is an enterprise class electronic lab notebook for QC, research and development, and process people. Today, process people are still using paper-based systems. Laboratories may also go to digital systems, but process people are still using paper-based systems. It is useful for process people as well. It is built for regulated industry and it is GXP compliant. It is available as uh, cloud-based SaaS subscription service. So you can simply buy a subscription, pay per use per month per user or something like that, and you start using the system. It is readily uh, validated, already validated, and available for you to use it in a GXP environment. Logilab ELN supports spreadsheet and protocol-based templates for data capture. Everybody understands spreadsheets, so we have chosen spreadsheet as one of the data input formats, and protocol is another format for inputting data into the electronic lab notebook. ELN has a template versioning and release controls. The most important thing in a regulated environment is release controls, change controls, and versioning. So the system has been designed in such a way that you will always have a release and version controls. Not only for template, even data gets versioned. That's another very, very important thing to be noted here. Most of the systems, even though they claim themselves to be CFR Part 11, if you change your data, maybe it is recorded in the audit trail, but uh, the actual place where you are entering the data, you will not know what changes were made. So it's a data versioning is very, very important because of regulatory compliance, and it's designed for Alcoa Plus, data integrity compliance, 21 CFR Part 11, Udrelex Annex 11 compliance as well. That's a quick introduction about Logilab. What can it do actually? So basically, Logilab is a digital format of data entry where you can create your experiments and test procedures, sample management, AR number based recording, test based recording, instrument usage logs, inventory usage logs, sample usage logs. All your paper-based methods recordings can be done inside the electronic lab notebook. There are two templates available in the Logilab electronic lab notebook. There is a spreadsheet template, which is very easy to understand. You can drag and drop and design templates, which I'm going to show later on. There's a protocol-based template where there are multiple steps. Step one, step two, step three. You can execute as per your SOP protocol. And these systems are designed with configurable workflows, and high level of data integrity and compliance is enabled by default. You cannot change it. You cannot switch it off. So system is very, very robust in terms of compliance. Okay. Uh, so what is template? So you can actually it's like a typical spreadsheet. So you can use a normal spreadsheet kind of user interface, which is built inside the Logilab ELN, and you can drag and drop fields from the left side. Let's say I want to record some number, I want to record some manual data, I want to put some formula, I would like to have a signature field here, or I would like to have an alert for a particular date and time. There are so many options available in the Logilab electronic lab notebook template designer. You can easily design templates for various activities. It could be a logbook, it could be a test procedure, it could be simply a room checking, a validation of a clean room, or validation of a machine that is going to be used for the next batch of production. Anything, you can use. This is a spreadsheet template where you can design uh, templates similar to your paper-based system. So it is not something a difficult software to learn. Anybody can design. If you can design a template for paper, you can design it for the electronic lab notebook as well. Um, then comes the data capture. Once you've designed these templates, you've approved it, and then these spreadsheets can be used for capturing data. By what is data capture? You can manually fill certain fields, and calculations, if they are embedded, they will be done automatically, similar to Excel. So if you put a formula, the formula will work. And there is versioning and release control. So if you put data, save it, and get out of it, and again you come back again and edit it again, then the data will be versioned. So there is a data versioning availability is there. And the system can send results to LIMS. If you are using a LIMS system, it can also transmit the data to final results of a test to the LIMS system. So it's a very dynamic system. It can be very easily integrated with other LIMS systems as well. Now, I'm going to focus more on the case study. So I've just given you a quick overview about what Logilab Electronic Lab Notebook is all about. And it's a more of a spreadsheet and protocol-based templates. So in this case study, I'm going to talk about how an API manufacturer regained FDA's approval by implementing Logilab ELN alone. That's a word to be noted. This manufacturer uh, had 483s in the recent past, maybe a couple of times, and yeah, they are an exporter of APIs to the US. Company was issued 483s and was banned from exporting to the United States. And some of their 483 observations are poor traceability of samples. So they were doing all these things on paper, and raw material is getting inside the factory, and the raw material sample has to be pulled by the quality control team. They have to label the raw material containers with the under testing label, perform the tests. They should know how much of quantity of sample was pulled from each and every raw material. What is the sampling rules? Is it the square root of n plus 1? All those things need to be applied. They were doing all these things on paper-based system, uh, but there was a very poor traceability. That's what the 483 observation mentioned for them. And there's a for a proper facility, regulated facility, there should be reconciliation of sample quantities used. Like I pulled 100 grams of samples from my raw material supply, and I made it into 10 different bags, 10 grams each. And I started issuing certain quantities for certain testing purposes. But you have to reconcile all these quantities at the end of the day, or at the end of the cycle, process cycle. But they had poor reconciliation of sample quantities, unable to prove that the samples were indeed used for testing, no traceability of chain of custody of samples. So who gave what, who received it, to whom it was given, there is no traceability of that. And then they used to have a work allocation papers, and they will allocate work for different samples to different persons in different areas like chemistry area, packaging area, microbiology area. They start giving the work allocation, and they thought, what is there in this work allocation? Let's tear it off and throw it away. So this work allocation was lost. This is called unintentional non-compliance. It's not intentional. They also had unintentional non-compliances. Uh, so there was a doubtful data integrity for sampling activity, cleaning of sampling tools. Imagine even the cleaning of sample tools had a data integrity issue. Finally, but not the last, there was also testing to compliance. Certain tests were done uh, until the material passed. So these were some of the observations that this particular company had, and they decided that they will walk this way. uh, See, typically, most of the companies who have had 483s, they will start calling a consultant. Can you help us with this compliance and all those things? And let's uh, let's sit and think about how we can improve our processes and systems, and how we can face the next audit and things like that. But this customer tried all those things, and they said, no, no. Now, as a company, we will do everything by ourselves, and we have learned enough from our previous audits. Now we should know how to learn and implement a system that can help us in terms of a high level of data integrity. Our company should not have any data integrity issue. So they wanted to address that core issue first. Okay. So they started looking at so many solutions. Even Agaram has LIMS, electronic lab notebook, document management system, quality management system. So many solutions are there, and they were just going around and taking demonstrations and looking at various systems. At one point of time, they decided, yes, we will do. We'll start with only the electronic lab notebook. Let's see whether we can build a solution that is really working in terms of the regulatory needs. Okay. Other solutions were far more complex, and it will take a lot of time uh, to implement a LIMS system. Uh, there was no experience in implementing process-oriented applications for this company, so they did not have the especially the quality unit did not have any enterprise class application implemented. Uh, Whereas the ELN provided a straightforward documentation process with integrity and compliance. That is the point that really stuck to this company, saying that yes, with ELN we can do what we do on paper-based system, but digitally. So let's try this first. That is the first real good decision that this company made, and they moved forward with the electronic lab notebook almost 18 months back. Okay, and what did they do? Shifting from paper to digital was the first thing to be done is design templates. So for every activity, let's say you want to have a sample tracking notebook. You simply design a template for sample tracking. What is more important for sample tracking? They already have it in paper, but they can do it electronically. So you would like to know who is the supplier, what is the AR number from the supplier, what is the date of manufacture, what is the expiry date, how much quantity did you receive, how many bags were received. All those things can be easily designed in something called as lab sheets. These designed templates are reviewed, approved, and released by QA. And It's exactly like your paper-based system. So in paper also, everybody designs a template on Microsoft Word or Excel, and they review it, approve it, and release it for your day-to-day activities. Similarly, you do a template design in the electronically. You can review it, approve it electronically, and release it for your day-to-day activity. And also, change management can be done. Say maybe after 3 months or 6 months, you may want to add one more piece of information into this template. Yes, you can change the old version, add one more piece of information, review, approve it, and release the version 2 of the template, and that becomes the latest version. Then in a period of, let's say, 1 year, if you have done 3 revisions, whatever data you recorded on version 1, it will show based on version 1 template. Whatever data you recorded based on version 2, the system will show you data recorded on version 2. Similarly, the system will always show the exact version that was used for recording the data. So then once you have reviewed and approved these templates, you can start capturing data using these designed and approved templates. That's the concept. So it's pretty straightforward in terms of uh, uh, going with the electronic lab notebook. What are the real use cases? Now we just uh, discussing the other day with the API manufacturer. What are you doing, and what are the things that you are recording on the electronic lab notebook? Now it's almost 18 months since they have started recording data. These are some of the examples: sample inward logs, sample tracking sheet, sample distribution with weights, allocation of tests for various samples, allocation of trained resources. Imagine being a regulated lab, you should have a list of people who are trained on various techniques. If a person knows liquid chromatography, then only that, and is trained and certified, only that person needs to be approved. So they created a list of trained resources on various tasks or techniques, and they were allocating the tests based on their training certification. And reconciliation of weights of samples was done electronically. Logs of instruments, like who used which instrument when. Now you may have a instrument usage logbook near each and every instrument, but they started doing it electronically. Also, they started with the OOS logs, out of specification logs, because uh, many of the customers who are facing 483s, there is a big problem in terms of traceability of out of specification and root cause finding. If there is no root cause finding, why they could not find the root cause? If they found the root cause, what was the root cause, and what is the corrective and preventive action taken in such a way that issue will not crop up again. All those things need to be recorded. So they used the electronic lab notebook. uh, they completely leveraged its capability to start creating various kinds of real life use cases inside the electronic lab notebook. And like these are some of the templates that they designed for capturing the data. Complex formula can be put inside the data. Electronic signatures can be put inside. So how did they meet the challenges? Now this customer uh, took almost 1.5 years, roughly more than a year. They are live with the electronic lab notebook, or around 17, 18 months they are live with the electronic lab notebook. And FDA audited them earlier this year, and they challenged them. They challenged the company. And the following slides are talking about challenges that they met. So can you show how you create templates? How easy it is? Can we not delete this template, or can we not rename this template? Those are some of the challenges that they faced, and you cannot simply delete anything inside a regulated software. So that was checkmate. Templates are versioned and release controlled. You can see here version 1 and 2, and workflow status is approved. So templates are automatically versioned, and they go through a release procedure, release workflow. So maybe the senior analyst is preparing, the QA is preparing the template, and it is reviewed by QA head, and maybe probably approved by the VP of QA or something like that. So you can have uh, a workflow for review, designing, reviewing, approving of these templates. So version can be done on templates. That's one of the challenges they wanted to see. Can you show me whether you can do versions? Yes. Can you do a controlled release? Yes, we can do a controlled release. Validation of templates. See, when you do electronics, everybody, there is always a need that you should validate whatever you are doing. So whatever templates you are doing should be validated. So there is an option inside the software for you to create new templates, validate them with appropriate data. Based on the validation outcome, then the approval can take place for the templates. Let's say you have input some calculations. So you can give, there is an option inside the Logilab electronic lab notebook called as validation orders. So you can create an order for validation, enter the data, complete it as if you have done a normal procedure, review it, approve it, and then if everything is okay, then you can approve the template. So there's a validation uh, available inside the electronic lab notebook itself for the templates. Then there is another challenge that FDA will throw. Okay, you say it's a spreadsheet. How are you going to validate if I change my data in one of the cells? In a Excel, typical Excel, anybody can change data. So you can just go type your data and it will change. That's it. In electronic lab notebook, if you change data after you have entered once, it is always versioned. So you can easily see accession ID ACC01. You see, ACC01 was changed to AID01. So you will immediately know that this data got versioned. And what was the change? All versions can be seen. If you have made 25 times the changes, all the 25 versions are available inside the electronic laptop book. So data is also versioned inside the electron. So it's high level of data integrity here. And then electronic signature capable. So if you're recording a piece of data and you want somebody to sign saying that, yes, I did it at this date and time, and this is the reason for doing it. Let's say somebody is receiving a sample from the raw material room, chain of custody. So I received the sample at this date and time. So you can record it very easily with electronic signature. So wherever you want, you can place an electronic signature field in the electronic lab notebook. So that is a very big advantage. And you can easily record the date and time, who did what and when. Date and time stamp is another very, very important thing. So when an activity is done contemporaneously, if it is really done only contemporaneously, then you can say, yes, you see, this is the date and time at which this activity was done. So this cannot be changed. The system is automatically recording the data from the server, not from the desktop. Since this is a browser-based application, you can change whatever you want in your laptops or desktops. Nothing will happen. It will always check the cloud server's date and time, and it will automatically put the date and time into the system without you to worry about it. Then this is a very important thing. There's a full audit trail where every activity that is done, which is impacting the data or changing the data or creating a new data or approving something, reviewing something, all of them are audit trail, login, log off, failed login attempts, all those things are recorded in the electronic audit trail. You can easily filter your audit trails. There is a, see, in the last few years, FDA has also insisted upon um, review of audit trails. So there is a possibility to also review audit trails inside the electronic lab notebook. So the reviewed audit trails are also marked as, yes, reviewed by so and so, so and so at the date and time, so and so, so and so. So audit trail, if yes, as part of your SOP, you need to review audit trails, let's say once a month. So whoever is responsible, if they are reviewing the audit trails, it will automatically mark those audit trails as reviewed by so and so date and time. So the FDA will be very happy to see that, yeah, you guys are also doing audit trail reviews and it's recorded, which is very good actually. And then execute formula for calculations. It's a very, very important thing because today in the scientific world, you have to do a lot of calculations. And if you are using still paper-based methods and a calculator or an Excel from outside in your desktop, uh, you have to keep on repeating the same calculations time and again. And there is a very high chance of human error here. Whereas in the electronic lab notebook, you can input the formula more or less similar to Excel, validate these calculations, approve it. So when you're reviewing and approving the template, calculations are also validated before it is being approved. So once you have done the formula, validated, you can forget it. It will always work the same way. So that's the advantage of putting the formula into the templates. Multiple logbooks can be created because in a regulated industry, you all know you have to create so many logs and you can create n number of logbooks. I want to have a HPLC column logbook. I want to have a GC column logbook. I want to have a sampling kit that you use for sampling the materials, cleaning log. So after you have sampled, you are going to clean it. So the person who cleaned it will say, yes, I cleaned it with the maybe, I don't know, isopropyl alcohol or anything which is appropriate to your SOP. You can record it and sign there, yes, at this date and time, I cleaned it with this material. When the material was used, you can also choose a material that was available in your inventory. So you're not entering something from the sky. If that material, if it is already there in an inventory and it is within expiry period, it will allow you to record that inventory ID by simply scanning the barcode of that material. So it's easier for you to keep track of inventories as well. Preventive calibration and preventive maintenance scheduling. Say most of the labs using paper-based systems, um, they have to create a separate calendar or something like that, and always be vigilant. Today, what do I need to do? They have to go look at so many registers. Let's say you have to calibrate an instrument or do a preventive maintenance every 3 months. You can set up a alert field in one of those templates. The system will automatically alert you. Hey, your instrument needs preventive maintenance, which is in the next 3 days or 1 week or whatever it may be. And you can set the notification period before 3 days or before 5 days or whatever you want. And the system will notify you. These are some of the advantages for you to uh, get alerted so that you can follow the SOP uh, stringently. Recording inventory usage. So if you are using primary standards, working standards, volumetric solutions, or an agar-agar gel, I could see there are so many 483s with microbiology testings. And I also noticed that many people are not validating the gel plates, before it is taken for actual usage. So here in the system, you can say this inventory will be under quarantine until it is tested, approved, and released. It cannot be used for your day-to-day activity. Those kind of controls can be brought inside when you are using the inventory system inside the electronic lab notebook. Uh, See, so far I was talking more about logbooks, tasks that you need to do, cleaning validation, all those things, sample quantities, sample registers. These are all more of too much of registers. But electronic lab notebook was designed to actually execute an entire test procedure itself electronically. That was the original intent for which the electronic lab notebook was designed for. Now, this customer whom I'm talking about started with all manual methods in electronic format. So let's say you are doing loss on drying, sulfated ash, those kind of uh, 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 pH measurements, color measurements. These are all highly manual titrations. All these things are manually done. So they started with all the manual test procedures to be electronic now. So you can actually execute any test procedure electronically. It's the entire test data can be captured here electronically, and the SOP can be easily followed here in the electronic lab notebook system. And then, so they met all these challenges. This is what I want to show. The electronic lab book is very powerful for you to defend any audit from any country. It could be FDA, it could be TGA, it could be MHRA or anyone or Indian regulatory authorities. You can easily, uh, with closed eyes, you can say we will pass this audit because it's all done digitally, electronically, with high level of data integrity, and you can challenge it. So that's the idea of the electronic lab notebook, and our customers have seen success. Imagine after implementation of this system, our customer has had several advantages. First of all, 4 years back, they were given 483s and they were banned from shipping to United States of America. Now, recently, they have regained their USFDA approval, and their since they digitalized their SOPs, issuance is automatic, uniquely numbered, and cannot be withdrawn. And sequence of procedures can be controlled. Date and time is fully controlled. Always latest approved versions will be automatically used. You don't have to go and search which is the latest version. All those things need not be done manually. No human errors here. And testing to compliance can also be controlled. Uh, Reports are printed automatically captured. When you print a report from an instrument, it's automatically captured. Duplicate reports, if generated, will also be captured. So if you are really doing multiple tests in the same system, the software will automatically capture. Even if you do 10 times the same test, all the 10 results are captured because the system is watching for data generated by those instruments. So multiple tests, if done, all of them will be captured. You cannot destroy any previous data. So testing to compliance could be very genuine as well. If you are doing something more than one time, even if you are doing it for genuine purposes, maybe there was some mistake in the sample preparation, maybe there was some mistake in the reagent, maybe the instrument was not working properly at that point in time. It could be a very lot of many genuine reasons. So you can actually do multiple data capture and show to the auditors, yes, we did this because of this. That's why you have two or three data recorded for under the same sample. And it's so your naturally the integrity of your company will go very high in terms of trust from the auditors. That's what we wanted to share today. We are almost coming to an end. This is the last slide, and I would like to thank you. And if any questions, we still have about 10 minutes time. We can easily, I can try to answer your questions. Type your questions on the chat box, and I can try to answer those questions. So far, I have not seen any questions coming up. I hope you people are able to type in the chat box the
Yeah,
questions.
so we have one question from Susanta.
Okay.
She wants to know, can we find out specific KPI like open kappa deviation using Logilab ELN?
Yes, you can easily go to the let's say kappa sheets and filter only based on the column saying that open or closed, and see which are the ones that are open. I
Uh,
answered. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Reddy.
she wanted to know if we can demonstrate some example right now.
Not right now, ma'am.
Yes.
We are not at this for this webinar. We are not presenting the software. Maybe we'll choose the next opportunity to do a real demo of the electronic lab notebook. We want to take it stage by stage, and also we can do a private demo if you would like to. You can contact us at the info@agaramtech.com, and there is also a feedback available. You can also put your request there, and we will contact you appropriately.
Yeah. So there is one more question. Uh,
Okay.
Since this is a SaaS-based ELN, did you
Mhm.
face any challenges in integrating with other systems which are either on premises or hosted on other clouds?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Today, most of the customers would like to integrate with other systems like ERP systems, and both on-premise as well as from other cloud. Yes, we have integrated with other systems. Today, integrating ERP systems and integrating with the other limbs or other products, it's far more easier than what it was a decade ago. So we have not faced any technical challenges as such. Uh, we have faced only uh, challenges in terms of accessibility and all those things, which is happening in the initial days of integrating. Then once the system is set, it goes like a routine integration. Any other questions?
Yeah, there seem to be no other questions.
Okay, okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending this webinar. I hope it was useful. Kindly give us your feedback, and wishing you all the best. Have a good day. Bye for now.